I love math because I've always understood it. Like, I don't know how, and I can't really explain it that well, and I don't understand how it works, but I just really love numbers. They really excite me, and when I see equations and numbers, I understand what happens, and I understand. The number just appears, I guess. So the way that I tell people is, like Beethoven looked at a piano and he got it, and when I look at like an equation, I just understand like the sequences of how they go into each other and how they come out. And a lot of people don't like math because they think that it's just really boring numbers. But there's a lot of different ways to like get creative with math, to do multiplication tables and other like things differently. The problem is that you're taught in like public schools how to do it one way, and they say that that's the only way to do a math problem. And just like everything else, I feel like there's always multiple ways to do something. Like, there's not a set way to shoot a film, and there's not a set way to do any certain thing, so why should math be any different? So I just was lucky enough to have some really good teachers that taught me some like really interesting ways that really excited me on how to do math equations different ways. A world without numbers is, I feel like that'd just be completely out of control, because there would be nothing, there'd be no standard to set there'd be no currency, nothing would have a real price, and you couldn't really, I couldn't fathom that. Like, I don't understand how people would do anything without any organization at all. And I don't know, let's not talk about that. That scares me. I have a lot of different favorite math problems for a lot of different reasons. My favorite multiplication is 64 times 75, because the way that I see it and was taught it is, so you take 64, the square root of 64 is 8, and so I see a chessboard which is 8 by 8, and then I see 75 as 75%. And so then I break up the chessboard into 4 quadrants of 4 by 4, and then 75% of that is 3 of those quadrants. And since each one is 4 by 4, 4 to the second power is 16, 16, 16, and 16 is 48, and since we're dealing in 2 digits, you're going to have 2 zeros, which is 4,800. As much as I love numbers, I think the more that you know about them, the more that you realize that they're coincidence. They just happen, and people who study like numerology and think that all these things can be told by numbers, I think that's just people who are afraid, and they find comfort in things. And it's really easy to find comfort in numbers. I can see that, and it's really easy to find comfort in things that are steady and regular. And so, and a number, it's like 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. And so, you get into big, like string theories and, mathematical equations like that. And these things are always going to be constants. And so people like constants in their lives. And so they look towards numbers and things like that to show them, how they should live their lives. And I just think that that's silly, because they're just numbers, and a number is nothing but, a group of anything together. So you're really just, I don't think that there's any great meaning within numbers. They're just a thing that we created a long time ago. Just a number. But I love them. Math is fun.